Hello, my Convict catchers, Convict, bringing you guys and gals another video. Today is another tech video. It will be as to the point as it can be, but I'm going to have to explain. I'm going to have to mansplain, so don't point the comments and go, get to the point. I'm getting there. You just have to hang on, okay? So, let's get to it straight away. So, first of all, I was doing some testing today. I was streaming, and I figured something out. One thing I noticed a couple of days ago is when I reset my PC completely. I've got a network card I actually bought, separate one, a PCIe that slots into your motherboard. And I actually noticed that if you go here to Device Manager and you go to Network Adapters, go to the one that is, which it says and states it's a PCIe. Right click, Properties, go to Advanced. You can see, hang on, I'm missing a lot of options. Where's the offloads and all the other stuff that's generally on here and the jumbo packets and what have you? They don't seem to be there. Now, I've not updated the card at all. I've left the card at stock, but that's what it did. And it intrigued me. I was like, okay, I want to kind of play with this because generally a lot of people in YouTube videos tell you to turn off and disable all the other stuff anyway. So would this really make a difference? Also, what I realized and noticed with this card, when I put in 0 on here, it actually said that, if I show you, you can have a valid range between 1 and 512, which I was like, what? How can I have 501? Because generally you can only go up in increments of 8. You can't do 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd have to do 8 and so on and so forth. Well, apparently this card you can go up in ones. Now, I will show you at the end of the video how you can change in Regedit so you can also go up in increments of 1. So I'm going to put this back. Actually, we'll put this to 120 because I do know that when you do receive buffers, if you go too low, it will start to affect programs and stuff. Command prompt, you'll get ping not being recognized and stuff. So there's different ways you can test to make sure that your receive buffers are working correctly. But as a base, 130 worked for me. So if you're on Realtek, 130 would probably work for you as well. However, it does recommend from Grok, which I'll show you in a moment, that you can actually start it at 32 and you should be able to start from 32. Mine doesn't allow that. It says it's got to be a maximum of 130, but I'm going to show you. So once you press OK there, you'll notice your internet will disconnect for a moment. It says no internet access connecting to Ethernet. It's now connected again, as you can see. Now, if I go to open Steam, just make sure Steam's not here. If I go to open Steam now, you'll actually notice something will go wrong. And it says this, it says logging in. I'm not going to leave it too long, but basically what's going to happen is it's going to keep on saying logging in. It's not going to log in. It's going to come up with an error and it's just going to keep on this. Now it'll stay like this for a moment. Mine Steam pops up like instantaneous. So there definitely is a problem here with the receive buffer because the receive buffer basically is part of the TCP packet on your system and it'll affect you logging into games. It'll affect the browser or the launching page, whatever you want to call it. It affects that. It'll cause a lot of issues. You'll also know as well if there's a problem with receive buffer because when you go into game, people will be skippity-doo-dah, you'll be stuttering, you'll be hitching and stuff like that. And you'll also probably get packet loss as well. So you definitely know you've gone too low if you encounter the things under receive buffers. That's receive buffer. Okay, I'm going to close this. I'm also going to close. Oh, it's not there. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to properties and change this back on the receive buffer back to 130. Press OK, and it'll pop back up again in just a moment down here, as you can see. Waiting for internet access. And it's back again. So now it's back again. If I press on Steam, give it a moment. And this is what should happen. Also, another way you can check is if down here it says not connected, then this could be, again, that your receive buffer is too low. Obviously, again, make sure that this is closed even in here and exit and close this down. And then you'll know that when you open this, it's got to boot up for the first time. It's got to start up all the networks and everything for the first time rather than the pre-existing part of it that's already built. Because you may find if your receive buffer is too low, if that is there, it might sometimes allow you to get into the actual launching Steam page, and then you'll have problems just logging in. It'll just take forever to log into Call of Duty's networks and so on and so forth. So now that we know that obviously with the receive buffer, we can go as low on my system as 130. You check yours. Try 32. If not, 130 is a good start point. Try 130 and maybe try 120. Again, if you have that issue I've just had now, you know that 130 is the minimum. I'm going to show you how to do a reg edit so you can go up in ones on yours, because a lot of registry, like your receive and transmit buffer ones, they will only go up in increments of 8. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. So for transmit buffers, it does say on Grok to start at 16. However, I don't know if this really works. I'm going to play test with it a little bit more. I noticed sometimes in games, especially at Call of Duty, it felt a bit sluggish to open chests, this slowdown. Now, it could be because my transmit is too low and I need to go up in increments in order to fix that issue. But I felt like it was smoother at 128 than I did at 16. Now, it's up to you where you want to start with. If you want to start at 16, or you might want to, if you wanted to start at 1, because I can actually start at 1, because mine, again, if I put 0, which you can do in yours as well, put 0 on either one, it will say it's out of range, but it will give you an indication of where it goes to. So mine goes from 1 to 128 as the actual ranges. I'm going to go back to 16 because 16 was one that I was told by Grok. And that's all you need to do. So what I'm going to do is read this a little bit from Grok here, just to explain about why we're doing this, because I do this so you can understand what it is first, and then I'll do and show you how to do reg edit. That will be in the description. So if you want to get to it quick, then by all means you can do so. Right, so I basically asked Grok here and said, what is better for gaming, high transmit buffer or a low transmit buffer? And they basically, Grok basically explains that reducing latency by sending packets more quickly is under low transmit. So anything under low transmit, if it was the pros of low transmit, is that it would reduce latency by sending packets more quickly. Minimizes buffer bloat, which is a common problem, where large buffers can cause delay as data waits to be transmitted. So it'll help with that. Ideal for real-time applications for gaming, where low ping and fast responses matter more than throughput. Now it says here that apparently this will be really good for obviously fast and gaming and stuff, but obviously won't be as good for such as like streaming or 4K video. High transmit buffer, this would be really good for obviously again streaming and download files, but it's got more chance of packets being buffered and obviously longer waiting queues and stuff. And the cons here is it can increase data spending more time to sit in the buffer before it's being sent, like I've just said, and can lead to lag spikes, jitter in games, especially if it's a fast-paced multiplayer title like a shooters or MOBAs. So you get lag spikes, jitter in games. It can be a con of a high transmit buffer. For the gaming context here, it says, for gaming, latest measured as king is ping, most online games like Valorant, Call of Duty rely on quick, small packets to be sent in real time. A low transmit buffer would help ensure that the packets aren't delayed, keeping your actions in sync with the game server. A high transmit buffer, while great for bulk tasks, can introduce unnecessary delays that can make your gameplay feel sluggish and unresponsive. So, it does say to do that. Obviously, it says here about QoS as well. Make sure that that's implemented because that would help alongside this as well. I might try doing that and try doing like port forwarding and other stuff to kind of help the connection and see if that does anything in the future. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is while I'm testing this. But if you want to go that far, by all means. Then I said here, again about transmit, if I can have between 1 and 128, which other people can't do this on theirs at the moment, you can only go up in increments of 8. Again, I'll show you how to change it so you can go up in 1s and you can go down to 1 as well on any network card or any like Realtek network card. Hopefully it'll work for other cards, but I've not used them unfortunately, so I can only go based on Realtek in this demonstration. So if your transmit buffer size can range between 1 and 128, it said the starting point would be to do 16. It says here, this will be to minimize latency and avoid buffer bloat, keeping your ping tight for gaming. It says obviously not to go as low as 1 or 2 because you might receive instability or packet loss. If your connection handles multiple devices or background traffic, fast response time to game with minimal lag, ensure that your connection is decent. So it's somewhat to test, but if you have any issues in game, then obviously any like instability or any problems or issues and stuff, then obviously you might want to go up rather than come down. But it says here to set it to 16 testing game, and it's also given recommendations of 32 and 64. And it says if it feels too sluggish, you can however drop it down 8 or 4. It says avoid extremes because one might be too aggressive, and 120 might be likely to increase latency too much for gaming. So if you kind of find that sweet spot for transmit. Transmit's kind of hard because transmit, it doesn't really get affected when you start the game. It's receive buffer that will give you that issue where if you open Steam, it wouldn't open. So again, I asked it about receive buffers. Again, 1 and 512 here, which is for the receive buffer. And it's told me that 32 would be a good starting point. Now, mine will not do 32. However, you can test yours on 32 if you wish. But like I said, 130 seemed to be the best one for me. 130 might be the best for you. So you choose what you want to do. Try 32. If it doesn't like it, then try 130. If that works, then leave it 130. Try 120. And if you have that Steam issue like I had there, or things don't open, then you definitely on your minimum is 130. And that is again Realtek. So it says here to choose 32, 64, 128. If you feel like it's delayed, again, drop it 16 or 8, as you can see on here. So it's completely up to you. So there's some context here, which gives you an idea of what they do, which is really, really important as well. So receive versus transmit. So the receive buffer matters more for what you're getting from the server. So this is probably the most important one, is your receive buffer, because this is the information it's giving you based on your opponents and your opponent's game state. While the transmit buffer from your early questions handles what you're sending, as in remove movement and shooting a gun and what have you. So receive is your enemies, transmit is you, is basically how it looks to have unfolded. So receive is affecting like where your enemies are on the map, to, you know, where they are at that time they're shooting and so on and so forth, and how fast that updates, and your actions, opponent's actions and stuff. And then transmit handles what you're sending. In example, your movements. Both benefit from low values in gaming, but receive buffer stability is key to avoiding choppy visuals. So your receive one is the more important, because you will have people teleporting, it'll start to lag, you'll have return, all that stuff. Everything will go crazy. Basically, it looks like you're losing connection. So again, if you have any of that stuff, your receive buffer. If you don't, then you'll be okay. Transmit buffer will only affect you. So if you feel like there's any issues, which I kind of felt like in Call of Duty, which I want to test a bit more, then when I go to Open Chess, it's a little bit delayed. And it felt a bit smoother at 128. So I kind of want to find between 16 and 128. Seeing as Grok did tell me 32 was a good one. But for me, obviously 130 was a better one. Not 132. It's not 32 itself, sorry. So, do that. Right, so now you know that, and we've done that. So 32 is a sweet spot, blah, 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 blah. Choose what you want. So 16 to start with for transmit, 32 for receive. Try them out and have a look. If you have any issues, I might post all this into the description, so you can read this from the description. And like I said, I'm going to link you now where we're going to do the next part. So if you go here to Registry Editor and put edit, run as administrator, then in the description, you'll have a line of code. I'm just going to copy and paste. So what you would do is you delete the top bit, you would then click in it, you would press Control and V, you would then press Enter, and it would basically bring you here. Now, mine that I'm currently on at the moment is not the one that I would normally use that has the other adapter information on. This is the one that I'm using right now, which is the one that goes up in ones. All you basically do is when you put this in, this code, then it'll bring you here, then you can find it. So some people might struggle, and this might not bring you to your adapter if you're on Realtek. Again, remember this is Realtek. However, I'm going to show you how to find it. If you go here, go to the device in question. So say, for instance, it's this one. Go to Properties, go to your, where is it? Details. Click on here, and you want to find where it says driver version. Not driver version, driver, where is it? Under driver. Let me just quickly find it. 2 seconds. Right, so you just want to go down till you find driver key. So you're looking for where it says driver key. Another thing you can do, like I've just done right now, if I go back to the top and use up here, is if you look at this bit here, which I'm going to highlight, this bit here, this is what you're kind of looking for. So if you go and you're not sure, or you can't find it, go here to Properties, go to Details, and go and do that. And then what I would suggest you do is click on the top one, so it shows here. Use your arrow key, so press down on your arrow keys. On your keyboard, press the down key, the down arrow key, and keep scrolling down with your arrow key. Tapping your arrow key all the way down until you find something that looks like I've just showed you above. And it should say, like I said, driver key, which is this one. Once you've found the one, you can then copy it. Just right click and copy it. Okay. And then close this. And then what you want to do in that part that I've given you, all you want to do is highlight this and this. And then Control and V, and then press Enter. And now it brings you to the other one. And you can see here. Now, once you've got the correct one, because you can see this one says TransmitBuffers, you've also got one for receive buffers in this list as well. If I pull this back over here a little bit, we've got receive buffers in this list, because this is basically your Ethernet. You can see you've got EE, flow control, interrupt moderation. This is basically what your adapter's showing. There's your receive buffer look, and there's your transmit buffer. So in order to change it, all you need to do is go to receive buffer. And then you want to go to the edit or registry of it, where it says 32. Click on it. You want to then say, okay, I want this to be able to go to 1. Okay. And then you want to okay. You don't want it to go up in steps of 8. So you want to change this to 1. And you want your base not to be at 10. You want it to also be at 1. Like that. Once you've done that, then you can now start to change your receive buffers about. What you'll have to do is obviously restart your computer in order to do this. And then obviously do the same for your transmit buffer as well. So just go over to transmit buffer. And again, go to the base one. And change it to 1. Go to your minimum. Change that to 1. And go to step. And change that one to 1 as well. And then once you've restarted your computer, then you should be able to go up 1, which I'm going to now pause, and then I'll demonstrate once I've rebooted the computer. So you have to reboot for regedit to take effect. So I'll be right back. Right, we've just come back. I've just booted now the computer back up again. So go back to Device Manager. And let's go back to the network adapters. So this time I'm going to use the Realtek gaming one, which is the other one that built in onto the motherboard. Go to Properties, to Advanced, and then now you've got advanced EE and all this stuff. So all you're going to do is go down to the bottom, find your receive and transmit buffers. Now I'll put down 0 in here, and now you can see the valid range is from 1 to 496. So you can choose any range between that. So I could even type in 2 and it will do 2, as you can see there. I don't recommend obviously doing that because 2 is too low. But yeah, there you go. So you can change these again. If I put 0 and do that, you can between 1 and 496. So you can go up in ones if you want, or you can go as high as you want as well. Or you can choose up in ones and choose like 128. As before, you probably won't be able to do on certain ones because you can only go up in figures of 8. That would restrict. So by doing that, obviously you can go up in ones and go 1, 2, 3, and it'll allow you to do it. I'll put that as 130. And there you go. Actually, let me put that transmit, because I've not tested with this yet. That should be 16. Transmit. Receive wants to be 130. That's the minimum. I might test that a bit later to see if this has any other effect on there in regards to that. But there you go. That's how you do it. So in the description, like I said, I'll put the link to the H-key regedit local machine thing that you just need to do. Again, I've showed you how to find yours if you're struggling to find it. And I will put in Grok's full entire literature to what Grok said, so you can read through it at your leisure and check it out and see what you think. Give it a bash, try it. I really do highly recommend it because I felt like connections were much on point. If you've ever had those issues where you were sure that you were moving or facing someone or going around a corner, it could have been that slight little delay that you was having because of the high transmit and receive buffers. So the lower the receive and transmit buffer is, the less buffer you have, and the quicker the packets will be sent out instead of having to be queued. I would probably recommend maybe doing like a QoS thing as well, where you could actually add on QoS and so on and so forth to make sure that those packets get prioritized first. That might also bolster the idea of your packets going out quicker and instantly, so it's not having to wait or anything, or there's no delay at all. Because obviously if you're doing those kind of, and you're putting those in, and not maybe doing port forwarding on your router, if you start doing these other parts in combination with this, you may end up getting an insanely clean and fast connection. Who knows? Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll show you and demonstrate in another video. We'll see. Anyway, hopefully this helps you out. Sorry, it is a little bit long-winded, but I like to explain and make sure you've got all the facts before we end the video. Anyway, I salute you. Test it out. Let me know. I will test it out myself more with transmit, because receive I've got where I know where it will work. Transmit, I'm just not quite there. And yeah, once I find out, you'll be the first to know. Anyway, bye for now.